Hi there, I'm Angus from AngusDriving.co.uk. Have a test shoot that involved quite a lot of lane changes, a lot of merging and stuff in it. We're also doing it at the time of day that the bus lanes are in action, so we can't drive in that, so we'll talk about that during this video. We've got country roads, cycle lanes that we do drive in this case, and narrow bridges. Let's get into it, see what comes up, and we'll discuss it as we go. So you may recognise we're behind the driving test centre at the moment in the car park. This is where you could maybe start your test from if you chose to park in here. We're going to just get straight into it and we'll talk as we go. Hopefully the low sun this morning doesn't affect the video too much. Hopefully you can see enough. So yeah, let's see what comes up. We're going to leave the car park. We're going to turn left as we leave. So I've started the car up into first gear. I'm just going to have a quick check around the car park. None of these cars or vans or anything are moving, so I'm going to just gently leave. So I'm just going slowly through the car park here. Quite bumpy, but yeah, if you just go slowly through it, just making my way through. I'm going to turn left at the end of the leave here. So I'm doing interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. Quite blind with this van and stuff here, taxi, so I'm just coming up slowly. I'm having a look down the side and it's all okay. As I get along to the end of the road here, I'm going to be turning to the left. Very bright sun this morning. So I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. I'm going to come round with this curve. Now it's tempting here that I can see very clearly to the right, but I need to look along to the left here with these parked cars because we've got a van along here and it'd be very easy to commit and drive out in front of it. Now this van has decided to let me go. It was its right of way because I wasn't on the road, so it's up to them. If they want to let me go, then that's fine. I'm going to turn left into this road, so interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. The signs here show it's one way. Cyclists are allowed to come towards me, but cars shouldn't. You can see the cycle lane, it's a bit faded, you can see the cycle lane on the right there, so a cyclist is allowed to come towards you. So we're going to drive along here and we're going to see what we get. At the end of this road, we're going to be turning to the right. And it's quite awkward. It's got a speed bump as you go out, so you've got to sort of sometimes arrive sort of on your biting point, making sure that you've got enough energy to stop the car rolling back, but not so much energy that you send it over the speed bump and out. So we'll discuss it as we arrive. So at the end here, we're going to be turning to the right. Because it's one way, we don't have to get completely back to our side of the road, but it'd be good to get off the cycle lane in case a cyclist arrives. So as I come along, I'm going to the interior mirror, right door mirror, signal right. I'm just going to do smooth braking, clutch down into first, and then I've just come to a gentle stop as the van has stopped. Because it's a slight hill, I'm going to put the handbrake on. Van's going to move, so I'm doing accelerator and the biting point. Once I've got those two things, I'm going to release the handbrake. Now I'm not bringing the clutch all the way up. I'm coming just back to my side of the cycle lane here, and I'm keeping my accelerator on gently. I'm just keeping the clutch in a position that guides me up this speed bump so I can have a look. So I'm edging up, looking both ways. It actually looks okay after this van, so I'm going to make a wee gap in front of this line of traffic, which is very lucky. So off I go. If I'd got there and it wasn't okay, then I would just have to stop and put the handbrake on and just wait until it was clear. As we drive down here, as I have in many of the other videos that we come down here, it's 20, so you just got to watch so you don't go over 20. So at the moment I'm just remaining in second gear in this car and just cruising along and just making my way over these speed bumps. Farther down the road it goes into a 40. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning there, the time of day at the moment is just coming up to 8 o'clock in the morning, so bus lanes were not able to drive through at this time. We'd have to remain out of them. So if you did your test at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8:57 and you came down this way, that would be the case because the bus lanes are in operation between 7:30 and 9:30 in the morning. So I'm just making sure I don't go over 20. I've got the 40 miles an hour speed limit change coming up. As I get closer, I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, no one's overtaking me, so I can give us some power, start to build some speed. So in regards to the bus lanes, they'll be marked with, you'll have blue signs as you come up to them, saying that they're coming up, and you'll have big solid lines which will mark like the sort of edge of the bus lane. So we basically must not drive in the bus lane at this time of day. So yeah, we will talk about it as we go. There'll be a few things that are slightly different, but yeah, once you get sort of to grips with it, it's not too bad. It's just basically trying to stay organised with what's going on. As long as you're organised, then yeah, you should be absolutely fine. Now, further down at the roundabout, I'm going to continue straight on, following the road ahead, second exit. I've got a cyclist up ahead, but I'm just going downhill, so I think, well, I don't think I'll even catch them before the roundabout, but if there was a chance, I think I'd possibly, if they're nearer the roundabout, I'd just let them deal with the roundabout. I wouldn't go too near them. So straight on, checking my interior mirror, starting to brake. I'm going to get speed away under 20 before this all curves. Now it all looks quite good, nothing's coming around, so I'm going to drop into second gear and I'm going to stay in the right there as I go because it's marked in the right. The reason it's marked in the right to go ahead there is there's no right turn on this roundabout, you can only go left or straight on. I've come round, it's now time to leave. I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left, checking that there's nobody who is on my left there. There shouldn't be, as long as everyone's following the rules, then that should be absolutely fine. Continuing straight on, following the road ahead, second exit at this roundabout. Same again at this roundabout, there's no right turn, you can only go left or straight on, so I'm anticipating it's going to be marked in the right lane to go ahead. So I check my interior mirror, start to brake gently, bringing the speed under 20 before it curves. It all looks quite good, so I'm going to drop into second gear and I'm going to stay with the roundabout. So I think it's quite good if you can manage to sort of get the speed away, mirror signal for coming off, under 20 before it all curves, then you've got loads of time to get your gear change done and sort of smoothly just remain in your lane as you go. Following for Edinburgh at this roundabout, I see on the sign that it's marked to the right. So I'm going to do interior mirror, right door mirror, signal right. So it's right, it's the third exit we can take. Traffic lights are green at the moment, I'm slowing down, I'm going to go into second before it curves, clutch up and I go round. Of course that could change to red and that would be I would stop and go into first. As I go around this lane spiral, it's a bit faded now, but there's a line that comes out here. I'm going to check this mirror on the left just as I sort of edge out with the spiral and I come round. Now this bus is pulled out in front of me, I'm just going to slow down enough that it gets out of my way, and then yeah, there's no point in me catching up with it. And then as I come round here, I'm going to do mirror signal the same coming off. Now here's your first bus lane, it's on the left here. Naturally this lane misses it, so we can choose to miss it without actually having to change lanes or anything, so that's quite good. So the bus lane is marked with that big solid line on the left. Further up at this roundabout, we're going to go straight on, following the road ahead, second exit. Now ideally I would like to go back into the left, so I can see the bus lane ends up there. I'm going to do mirror signal now to announce that I want in. I'm not going to move until that finishes. I'm going to recheck that no one has cut in early, nobody has, so I can make it over. I'm now going to cancel the signal because it would be very easy to keep that signal on and then arrive at this roundabout like we're sort of forgetting about it and still be signalling left, which then would obviously look like I was turning left. By signalling long before the bus lane ends, that will cut down on the amount of people who would then decide to maybe cut into the bus lane early, who shouldn't, because they would see that you're going to be going in. It doesn't stop them, but it will cut down, so that's what I'm doing that. So off we go, going straight on, following the road ahead, second exit, controlled by traffic lights which are green. I'm just going to stay left. So I'm staying with this curb and railings, following around with the curb and railings, now the curb on the bridge. The road markings are terrible there as you come out, but if you're in the left, you don't really need road markings, you just stay as left as you can and you can't really go wrong. Now I'm going to go towards those railings, I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left, and then from here I'm going to steer out. Looking further along the road, we've got the 40 miles an hour sign still on this road, so I'm building up to 40, crossing looks okay. Now the reason I moved back in at that roundabout after the bus lane, yes, the lane I was in did go straight on, but I would exit the roundabout in the right lane, and I've got no reason at the moment to be in the right lane. So, and the first section of Calder Road here has no bus lane, so ideally it'd be good if you can to get back over to the left before that roundabout so that you're then set up for this road. Now this is queuing up slightly, so I'm just sort of keeping my distance, watching sort of like in case anyone suddenly starts to change lanes or anything, but it's all looking okay. Got the bus there, but that seems to still be sat there. It shouldn't just jump out in front of me. And I'm going to drop down into second gear as we sort of seem to be just going along at 20 at the moment. I'm keeping a nice distance, so then I don't have to pay so much attention to the guy in front. I can look at things. It looks like we're coming to a stop, so I'm going to check my mirror. I'm just going to do gentle braking, and I want to stop so I can still see a bit of road between myself and the vehicle in front. And then, yeah, we're sort of edging along. We're going to go straight on for city centre, straight on second exit of this roundabout. Now, you'd approach in the left lane as we're doing. When we get to this roundabout, the lanes sort of split. We just follow our lane, but it ends up that we curve round and we end up in the middle lane. Now, when we leave this roundabout on the other side, there's signs saying merge ahead, which basically are telling you there's a bus lane coming up. So you have quite a lot of time, but you're going to have to start thinking about making the move out to get into that right lane. So as I said, the lanes sort of curve here. We end up following this lane into the middle. And I'm just stopping again so I can still see a bit of road, so I can see their back wheels touching the ground. It's a slight hill as I've come in here, so I'm going to put the handbrake on. It's going green, I'm going to get my feet ready, I'm going to do the accelerator and the biting point. When the guy in front starts to move, I'm going to release the handbrake and off I go. Traffic lights don't stay green for too long, so I'm anticipating they might change, but they've stayed green and I'm through. So middle to middle, just matching the lane, and as I come off on this side, there's going to be a yellow sign saying merge ahead. So I come round here, do mirror signal, and I've got this sign here, merge ahead. So I'm staying in second, I'm beginning to build speed and doing mirror signal, and I'm going to take a quick glance around there just to double check. There's a van behind me, but it's far enough back. I can also see the front of that van in this mirror, that I could get, if I can see the front of it in that mirror, then there's enough room. Crossing looks okay, no one's at it, so that's not going to change. So yeah, if I can see the front of the van in that mirror, there's enough room for me to move across. Now, we're out for this bus line, which we've successfully done. You would have from that roundabout to there to do it, but obviously the earlier you get it done, the more organised you are. We're going to turn left, first exit for Corsprphine. So you can see on the sign it's left there. We're going to do mirrors in the signal. I can't move till that solid line finishes. It finishes away up there, but because I've got the signal on, it should cut down people sort of doing anything strange. Now I'm checking the mirror, all looks okay, so over I go. Braking gently so I can sort of lower the speed to see. I'm sort of down at 20. It looks quite good, so I'm going to go second gear, just lifting the clutch, and away I go. This road's now 30 as I go down here, so I've got to be careful that I don't then get too carried away and drive over 30 miles an hour. Car in front is turning right. There's lots of cars coming towards us, so it's going to have to stop. So I'm going to check mirror, like interior mirror, left door mirror as I move over to the left, but the van's not that neat to the line, so I think I'm going to find it difficult to go past that. So I'll just have to wait. But if that van was very close to the line for turning right, then it wouldn't sort of obstruct us. Like, it depends how big the van is and how narrow the road is, but in that case, I think if the van had been neat across to the right there, I would have been able to just gently continue through on my way. So, making sure I don't go over 30, looking ahead at the pedestrian crossing. There's a girl standing on the left, but I think she's not pushed the button, I don't think, but I'm just sort of checking in case. But yeah, she seems far enough back. I think she's maybe just waiting for her friends or something. And we're going to continue following ahead down here, following straight on for Corsprphine. So just checking I don't go over 30 as I go down the hill. Roundabout coming up, straight on second exit I'm going to go at the roundabout. Pedestrian crossing on the other side is going red, so there's going to be a gap of traffic coming towards me, but that then means that there's going to be an opportunity for traffic to come out from the right if there's lots of traffic there. I don't know, we'll see in a minute. So I'm braking, I'm under 20, actually looks quite good. Cars that are there are on the outside lane, so they're not going to come round, so I'm staying on the outside here, and then when I come to leave, mirror, signal. And I'm just timing it, these cars get going because the pedestrian crossing is just going to green again, and as I go along here, they've changed this route to a 20, which I've got a video that takes a slightly different route. It does come down here, but then continues straight on. We are further along, we're going to be turning right. Now once we turn right, immediately after we turn right, we're going to be turning left. It's going to be right then left, which is quite fiddly. It's quite sort of one after another. So it's just making sure that you don't go into it too quickly. If you were being directed by a sat-nav, I think it would say, you know, turn right then left. It would tell you them both together, and you'd also be able to see on the wee screen that the blue line would be very sort of, you know, like left, right, left. And if the examiner is directing you, they'll have to tell you you're turning right and immediately turning left, so you're ready for it. So right, then the first left. So interior mirror, right door mirror, signal right. And because it's a 20, I'm only in second here. I'm looking ahead here. It looks okay ahead. So when the centre of that road lines up with my knee, I'm going to turn us in. And I'm going to be turning left here, so mirror signal. I'm just gently on the brake as I come round, and I'm just following round with the curb. And obviously as I came in there, I was watching those pedestrians who, they were standing there as I went to turn in, and as I sort of came in slowly, they decided to start to walk towards me, which is always nice. But you know, it was okay. They were, I was happy that they were not going to walk in front of me, and they were aware of me. So yeah. So continuing down here, and we're going to go into a housing estate here, where possibly, if you came down here, you might do a manoeuvre or do many pull-ups at the side of the road and stuff, like because you're going to get pulled up at the side of the road, like I've mentioned in previous videos multiple times. They're going to pull you up, drive on, and all they're looking for is, can you select a safe place to pull up and stop. The road just follows round. I've got these guys sort of standing here and just watching what's happening. Just taking my time. I think this lady's stopping to speak to them, so I'll just go round her. She's now beginning to move, but she's not paying so much attention, but that's fine. That's the sort of thing that you just have to take your time with. So I slowed down, and as I started to go past, she then decided to put her indicator on. Then she looked in the mirror, and then she saw me and stopped. So but if she'd gone any further, of course I would just brake. So I'm staying to the left here just as I come through here, and then I'm just checking mirror as I go round here. Find a safe place on the left to pull up and stop. So I'm just going to pull up here, so mirror signal. I'm going to bring myself in, and I'm just pulling up beside the curb here. So what I'm looking for is somewhere on the left. It's not blocking anything on the left, so I'm not blocking a driveway, like sort of an entrance or anything on this side. In addition to that, I'm not opposite a parked car making the road narrow, and I'm not opposite a junction making the road narrow at a junction. Drive on when you're ready. So I've got a car coming up behind me. I'm going to go clutch round first, but I'm not going to bother signalling or anything quite yet, because I'm not going to go in front of it. That's it, passing, get my feet ready, quick check round, all looks good, signal on, and off I go. I don't think there's any point in signalling when it's approaching me, because I have no intention of actually driving away in front of it. I'm going to turn right into this road, mirror signal. Looking ahead looks good. When the centre of that road lines up at my knee, and I go. So as we drive along here, let's do a manoeuvre. We're going to pull up on the right, but so the examiner might say to you, as you drive along, find a safe place on the right to pull up and stop. So looking along there, looks like there's lots of good places here. We've got to be careful with the signalling with this junction. I'm past that, so I'm going to do mirrors in the signal, bringing myself across, and I'm going to go past these driveways and go beside this wall with the railings. That looks quite a nice bit of curb there. I'm giving myself enough time to get over, get myself nice and lined up. I've got myself nice and parallel, end up sort of, you know, nice and parallel straight. I can double check in this mirror, all looks quite good, and I'm going to stop us there. So I've stopped. So again, when you're pulling up on the right, you're looking for somewhere on the right that's not blocking anything on this side. So like effectively I could just leave the car here for the day, I could jump out and walk away. And then in addition to that, don't be opposite the parked car and don't be opposite the junction. So when you're ready, we're going to reverse back 2 car lengths. So into reverse, as long as no one's driving up and down the road or walking on the pavement beside me, then I can go. So I'm going to check both shoulders before I go. All good over both shoulders. So I'm going to start to go back slowly. These people are walking, but I'm going to get a bit done before they get here. And as long as they stay ahead of me there and without me going too fast, then I should be okay. As I get a wee bit closer, I'm just going to pause just as they go past. And then once they've gone past, if I'm happy that nothing else is driving up and down the road or walking beside me, then I'm going to get going again. Just give them a moment just to get a wee bit further back. I've got this car as well, so I'll wait for this car to go past. Now I've got a guy on a bike as well, so you just sit still. This could happen in your test. You could get the guy on the bike seems to be staying with that girl, so that's okay. Checking both shoulders, going back a little bit more. And basically the examiner's going to tell you to stop. Like, so that's me done probably about my 2 car lengths, and I'm going to stop there. So the examiner's going to say, that's great, I just want you to drive on when you're ready. So I'm going to first gear, and I'm just going to give this guy one moment to see what he does on his bike, because he might go round the other side of me, he might come up onto the pavement and go down the pavement side of me, but basically I just don't want to like pull away towards him. So all looks okay now, so I'm going to check ahead and then over my left shoulder, and all looks good, so I'm going to signal and off I go. Now driving down here, we've got parked cars on either side, so I've just got to be careful that like we're ready for meeting things. So we've got a van approaching, but I'm in a nice open bit here, so if I just go slowly, the van can drive through this section on the right, so I'll just sort of continue slowly. And I'm just going to check these mirrors. I can edge over slightly if I need to, but I didn't need to move at all. Now there's a car here, so I'm checking interior mirror, left door mirror. I'm bringing myself over, out the way enough that they can get through, but I'm not jamming myself right in behind this van, because if I jam myself too far in, then I'm not going to be able to see. Yeah, I think this person can get through it and they're overreacting slightly, but yeah, I'll see the next guy will go through quite a thing. And he's got a bigger car. So yeah, now we're going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, and it all looks good, and we're going to continue through. As I get to the end of the road here, I'm going to be turning to the left. Quite awkward with this van that's parked on the corner here. So I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left, and then I'm just coming up slowly. And I'm coming down into first, I'm just checking what's happening. It's very parked up here. Lots of vans along here as well, but it looks okay. So I'm going to continue along here, and then I'm going to turn left into the road coming up. This is still all 20, you'll see it on the lamppost. So left into this road coming up. So I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. And then I'm just coming in slowly. I'm going to keep it really tucked as I go around here, nice and neat in, and I'm going to check along before I commit. Looks okay, so now I'm going to let the car move out. It's just important that I don't commit too early and just let the car go out. Find a safe place on the left to pull up and stop. So I've got a nice empty bit coming up, so I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. I'm going to bring the car in, then I'm going to go along. I'm going to click the signal back on because it's clicked off. I'm going to go along past this driver, so it gives the car time to run parallel, and then I'm going to stop here so I'm not blocking anyone's driveway. Handbrake, neutral, cancel signal, and then the examiner is going to say, that's great, drive on when you're ready. So off we go when you're ready. So into first gear, checking interior mirror, right door mirror, right shoulder, all looks good, so I'm going to signal and off I go. And they're only going to say if there is a suitable place to pull up and stop. Occasionally they might say during the test, you know, can I get you to stop on the left? On this occasion, don't worry about the driveways. And of course, if that's what they say, then don't worry about the driveways. You can stop over a driveway. But if they don't say that, do not block a driveway. When we get to the end of this road, we're going to turn to the right, and we have, in previous videos I have come along this road, and it's got a bit of a feature at the end. It's got a stop junction, so yeah, we have to stop, not give way at this one, so you stop no matter what. So this guy, I presume, is turning, yep, going in. So as we come along to the end, I'm going to be turning to the right, so we're going to do interior mirror, right door mirror, signal right, and then I'm just going to be doing smooth braking, clutch down into first, rolling all the way up to the line, and then you come to a complete stop, absolutely stationary, zero. And then if you're happy, this guy seems to be letting me go, so I'm going to go. and yeah, everyone's been very nice this morning. Then off I go. And if I'm not happy, then I sit still. But even if you come down and that junction is completely empty, make sure you completely stop. If you didn't, then that would be a fail in the driving test, because it's like a rule of the highway code. So I'm just checking interior mirror, left door mirror, just as I come back over to the left after passing that car. Still 20 along here. You've got the speed bumps, which would sort of indicate that as well, and you've got the signs repeated on the lampposts. Car on the left there has just stopped, so I'm ready for doors and stuff to open. It's reversing, so I'm now ready for it to swing out slightly, but I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror. I'm going to stay just off it because it's likely. You can see the front wheel turned in, it's going to swing out. I'm going to turn left at the end here, so interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. I'm coming round, I'm going to do smooth braking, clutch into first, rolling up. There's a silver car here, it's turning in, checking it turns in, and it has turned in. So if there was a car like that approaching, signalling, I'm going to check that it does actually start to make the move of turning in, rather than just seeing it signal thinking, it's fine, I'll go. Because, yeah, the examiner would want you to check that it does go in. I think that's a good idea, had nothing to do with your driving test in case they don't go in. Still 20 along here. And further along we come to a set of traffic lights that we're going to turn to the right. So with that information, which should be told nice and early, so as you come along here you're turning right, as things widen you need to stay to the right. So I'm going to do interior mirror, right door mirror, I'm going to signal right to say I'm turning right to these traffic lights. I'm following down in this lane, and I'm going to stop just before this cycle box. So when it does go green, I'm going to be following down and then turning right. Now this next section of road that we're going up, still all 20, very wide. It used to, basically at the top of the road there's a small roundabout, and it can be quite busy here, so people get adjusted into their position quite early. So although it's not marked as 2 lanes, people seem to drive it like it's 2 lanes. We're going to be turning left, so make sure you stay to the left as you go up. So I'm going to go, it's going green, next one's going green, there's kind of in sequence here. Looking ahead, it all looks okay. Just checking no one's coming out from Tesco. I believe that they do go one at a time, but you just double check as you move forwards. So I'm making sure I don't go over 20, but I'm really staying left. You'll see like up ahead, like see the van's the way out. So I've just got to make sure that if you followed like with the van, people behind might get into your left, sort of up your left, and then you're going to find it very difficult to turn left. It's okay to clear this yellow box. Basically I keep clear for the junction. I'm going to turn left at the roundabout. I can drive through the bus stop, that's fine. The crossing looks okay, so I'm going to turn left first exit. So interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. Now very busy roundabout this, or it can be, so I'm coming in slowly. My view's blocked by all this traffic, so I'm going to slow down and go into first. I'm going to make sure I go far enough forwards here. Now I can't really see with this van, there's a bus coming through and there's lots of stuff coming on. So now what I want to start to look at is potentially the red car that's over there. It might come round. Now it's actually running out before that, so it's all okay. The red car didn't come round, but if it's really busy there, look for someone over here that's going to turn right, because they'll then come round and block everything. Bus lane coming up, got the blue sign, so I'm going to do mirror, mirror, signal, and I'm just going to move myself out, and then I'm out for this bus lane. And then you might have seen it came in there 40s, you've then got it repeated on the lamppost there, so I can build up towards 40 if suitable. And obviously, depends on what's happening with traffic around you, because it is quite a sort of active road with the bus lanes and the parked cars and stuff. Another pedestrian crossing ahead. I can see the left just before the bus blocks my view of it. There was nobody there. The middle looks okay, so I'm not anticipating this changing. Further up here, if you were doing this at a time of day that you were allowed in the bus lane, there is further along, the bus lane basically comes to the end. This will be good, the traffic lights are going red, so I might have time to explain it to you. So further up, the pedestrian crossing is going red. I know that's going to slow me down or stop me, so I'm going to check my interior mirror and I'm going to start to brake. So just after this Volvo car garage, there's a yellow sign up there. I know today that we're out the bus lane because of the time of day, but if you were doing this at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock during the day, you would be in the bus lane, right? So that's fine, you'd be driving along in the bus lane. However, when you get further up here, there's a yellow sign on the left which says, moving forwards from this car garage, it says buses, cyclists and taxis, only in that lane further ahead. Basically the bus lane comes to a dead end, so you're allowed in it but you're not to drive out the end of it. So between there and sort of going along, you need to try and make your move to get out so that you're not going to then drive out the end of the bus lane. So if you can remember that after the Volvo car garage you got that yellow sign, anywhere from that Volvo car garage, move out to the bus lane if you were in it. Now along here, this is faded, but our lane goes across the front. They've got this person at the crossing, reaching for the button, but it's staying green. I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror as my lane comes across. Very faded. I've got a yellow box here in front of this junction, but it looks like I can clear it, so I'm heading over. Now this is where we're going to start to do some lanes, like sort of a lot of lane changes and merging, okay? Further up ahead, we've got like an archway going across the road. We're going to be using the right lane to go ahead. You can go ahead in both lanes, but depending on where you're going, they go to different places. So we're going to be going for the west and north, okay? Not city bypass. And if you came along here in your test, you could go city bypass, you could go the west and north. Obviously, if you're following a sat-nav, it would either say keep left, keep right, and if the examiner was directing you, they'll have to tell you in plenty of time. So this is all still 40, that's it going green, get my feet ready, checking for any cyclists and motorbikes, all looks okay. And as I go along here, I'm going to go in for the west and north, so I'm looking to move out to the right. So I'm doing interior mirror, right door mirror, signal right. I've got my signal on, I can see the car behind in this mirror, I'm just going to move across, okay? Now this road goes down and under GOgar Roundabout, okay? Now what you would, if you're following a sat-nav or examiner, usually when you go down here on the other side, they're going to turn you left, basically once you've come up the other side, okay? But because when we come out on the other side, we're going to be, the lanes merge together, we're in the right lane, and if we're turning left, we're going to need the left lane, okay? So I'll explain it as we go, but basically we need to be organised and ready to move to the left as soon as we can. So watching you go over 40 through this dip. This sign shows you that the lane on the right is going to merge in with you, so you can just double check if anyone's like about to do anything to you. So further up here, we're going to be turning to the left, okay? So our lane comes along beside this lane, right? I'm going to do mirror signal now to say that I'm going to be going. I can't move till that hatched area is finished, but double check round, it all looks good. I'm going to be quite efficient and make my move as soon as I can, all looks good, so over I go. And then I'm going to be turning left into this road here and following round. Now, if that wasn't okay, I've done my mirrors and signal, you need to start slowing down so that you can create time. As long as you've done your mirrors and signal, and it goes into a 30 as I come around here, as long as you've done your mirrors and signal, the people behind would understand why you're slowing down to try and get back into that lane. But you need to be organised, because that road that comes along, that comes in to us, that's going to be controlled by traffic lights from the roundabout. You're going to get blocks of traffic, so you might have no traffic like we had today, or you will have traffic. Green the traffic light, you just drive through this cycle lane, so this road's too narrow to not drive through the cycle lanes. There's a 40 miles an hour sign coming up, and it's a bit sort of green from being under the trees, so we know that this road's now 40. If you didn't manage to get that turn, say you just didn't manage to get the left, like I don't know, it was busy on your left and you thought, I'm not going to make it, just drive past it, just keep going. There's many other roads that the examiner could turn you in. You won't fail your test if you don't manage to do it. So just if you thought, I can't do this, I'm sure you will if you're organised, but if you really couldn't, just scrap it, just keep driving forwards, and the examiner will they'll turn you into the next road further up, and then I'll just join onto this road. So driving along this road, 40 miles an hour. It looks suitable on this straight because I can see we've got this cycle lane. It's strange, but if I stayed out of the cycle lane, if you look at where you would be on the road, you'd be in the middle of the road, and then you'd be going into these corners in the middle of the road. So yeah, for the whole road, you're just driving through the cycle lane. The further around the corner, we've got like a bridge over a railway, which is controlled by traffic lights. The traffic lights, because it's only literally for the bridge, for the narrow bit, they have a habit of just changing, like going between red and green. So like they're red at the moment, quite likely they could be green if the traffic's finished on the other side by the time we get there. That's I'm going to green, so I'm going to check my interior mirror. I'm just going to ease off the power enough that these guys get going. Because they're taking a wee moment to get going, I'm going to go into second gear, and I'm just going to sort of tag on behind them. Now as you come around here, there's a narrow bridge coming up. There are signs to tell you about it, but if you're ready for it, that makes you even more organised. It's not marked up as anyone's right to wait. We may have to give way. So I'm staying with that curb and left, following the line of it. Difficult with the sun here. This van's blocking my view of the sign slightly on the left, but there's another one there saying oncoming vehicles in the middle of the road. And I've got the sun right in my eyes as well. So as I come down here, it looks okay, no one's coming towards me, so I'm just going to center myself and go over the bridge. And then once I'm over, I'm just going to get back to my side of the road, and I'm just going to follow around, and I'm going to start to build towards 40 if suitable. So basically, you just want to come into there slow enough that if somebody was coming, such as that lorry, you could give way. It's not marked up as anyone's right of way, so it's not that it's not that the lorry might stop for you. I think the main thing is you don't just charge in towards the lorry, because that could get very awkward if you both go in. So if you just come in slow enough, be ready to give way. If you're fortunate enough that there's nobody there, continue on. As you go up here, it goes from 40, then it drops down into 30, if I remember. So further up, it's getting a wee bit overgrown with these the hedges and stuff. You can see 30 seconds. I'm going to check my interior mirror, I'm going to come off the power, I'm going to brake lightly. I'm going to go straight on at the roundabout, second exit. Now, road markings are different at this roundabout. It's marked in the right lane to go ahead. So I'm going to check interior mirror, right door mirror, just as I edge across to the right here. And I'm going to come in slow enough. Now, this can be quite busy. And there's a car coming out there, there's another car coming out there, so I'm just going to have to wait here for a moment. And you just take your time here, you're almost back at the test centre. More cars arriving, so yeah, can't go yet. And then these guys are coming round, so I've just got to wait. And then it's hard to tell with the spiral here as to whether these people are going to come round or go off. So you've got to be careful, because that spiral, which we've already been through on the way down here, because its spiral is quite sort of wide, it can look like they're going to go off and then they suddenly lip round. And then once this finishes, there's going to be more traffic coming out from my right. So yeah, I've not missed anything, it's just busy. Maybe again, no, another car arriving. And yeah, if you had this, you just got to just take your time, just try to sort of remain patient. So I've got a gap here and I'm away, so off I go. So out to the roundabout. Now as I go round, it spirals, so you'll see just here, I'm going to check interior mirror, left door mirror, I'm going to do a wee signal. And then as I come along here, I need to get back into this left lane, right? Now I'm going to put my signal on, I've got a car here, I'm going to quickly check round, and it all looks okay, I'm going to get back over here. Now it'd be very easy there to not realise you need to get back to the left and drive along in the right. We're going to go straight on at this roundabout. And if you stayed in the right, you'll suddenly find yourself, oh no, I'm in the right lane. So you're going to go straight on, check the mirror, start to lower the speed. I'm under 20, it looks quite good, so I'm going to go second gear, and I'm just going to stay to the left as I go. So we're really on the outside of this roundabout, and as I come to leave, I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. Now say you did by mistake end up in that right lane and got down to the roundabout thinking, oh no, I've not moved back. If you were fast at thinking, you could signal right and do like a lip the loop of the roundabout and then out. Basically just don't go straight on in the lane that's marked for right only, or turn right but like into the parking right. I'm going to go straight on, check the mirror and start to lower the speed. Under 20, looks good, so I'm going to go into second gear. I'm going to stay left as I go, so staying on the outside of this roundabout as I go. And then once I've passed this turn off here, I'm going to be signalling to the left, so I'm going to do interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. Still got the 40 sign here, all looks good, big smooth push, building to 40, really putting my foot down. I'm propelling myself up in speed. And then yeah, that would be you. We're back up at on the home straight, back to the test centre. I think that's quite a challenging route. A lot of horrible roundabouts, lanes, changes, merging, country roads, fast roads, slow roads, like a lot of features in that. So if you've got any questions, of course, get ask in the comments, and I'll see if I can do my best, hopefully, to answer them. Hopefully if you got a route that had included some of that stuff or all of that stuff, then yeah, you would hopefully know what to do. They're not looking for anything fancy on the day of the driving test. They're just looking to show that you're just showing you've got control of the car and you've got that sort of safety about you. So just try just to sort of do what you've been doing with your instructor. Take your time with it all and you'll be absolutely fine. So it drops into a 20, going to check my interior mirror, coming off the power, starting to slow down. And then I've dropped down to 20 and I'm going to go into second gear. And I'm just cruising along, making sure I don't get too close to the guy in front. The reason I'm checking my mirror there on the approach is I know that I'm about to slow down. What I'm looking for is, I know there's someone behind me, how close are they? If they're very close, then maybe I've got to start braking earlier and sort of more gently. If they're not that close or there's no one behind me, I can kind of brake how I want, within reason, as long as it's smooth. But the examiner is going to be looking for that's your sort of structure. Now we're just about finished, but we've not pulled up enough, just because of the sort of the roads. So we're going to loop into this housing estate here. We're going to turn right. So we're going to do interior mirror, right door mirror, signal right. And then I'm going slowly. If I go really slowly, that white car might be passed. I'm going to go down into first because it's not quite passed. And then I'm waiting till the centre of this road lines up with my knee. Looks okay to continue, but quite parked up here. So I'm just sort of having a good look into that before I commit and then get to here and think, oh no, there's a van coming towards me. following this road round. Looking into this next section, looks parked up, but it looks clear, so I'm just checking my mirrors. Lots of mirrors as you go through here, it's like a slalom. So I'm checking interior left as I come round. I'm going to go slowly through here, interior right, and then interior left. Lots of it. So as we drive along here, obviously I could meet someone could arrive. So I'm just sort of thinking about that. As long as you think about that, then I think you'll be ready for it. Cyclists coming along, but that's okay. Find a safe place on the left to pull up and stop. So I've got a nice place here. It's a mirror signal, and I'm just going to pull in. And I'm going to stop here. Drive on again when you're ready. Okay, so into first gear. Checking behind me, mirror, right shoulder, all looks good. Signal on, and then off I go. And if it wasn't good, I wouldn't go, I wouldn't signal. I'm going to intentionally put a little bit of, I'm going to drive kind of in the middle here because you can see no one's coming, so I'm off these people, especially the wee child on wheels and on the hill in case they roll this way. Hopefully not, but yeah, it means that I'm not going to be too close to them. I've got these group of children walking here. The wheelie bin, they're going to start to move out slightly, but yeah, they should be okay. They look predictable enough. They're not too active. They're moving slowly. But you can imagine if you had a group of excited children like bouncing about a wee bit, you would like for example on the right here, we've got one person running, so I'm sort of anticipating they might suddenly cross the road or something. Turning left at the end, interior mirror, left door mirror, signal left. Going to follow around with the curb here. See what's going on. Looks okay. Off I go. And then we're going to see if we can get an angled start somewhere. So there's a vehicle coming here, so I have to wait for this. And then after this, I'm going to check mirrors and round I go. I'm not going to be able to get an angled start. I'd be struggling if I was the examiner. So they will pull you up behind a car as well, and then get you to pull away sort of with the vehicle in front of you, just to show that you can pull away with something in front of you. We'll do it at the very end. We'll do it right outside the test centre. We'll see. Okay, so going straight on at the roundabout. Checking my mirror. Coming in slowly. All looks good. Staying on the outside of the roundabout. And then as I come round here, I'm going to be leaving. So mirror signal. And then I'm going to pull up before we get to this car on the left. So mirror signal. I'm going to bring it in. Don't worry about the driver on this occasion. I'm going to get quite close, leaving myself enough room to get away. And then when you're ready, drive on. This is just to show that you've got the control to pull away with something in front of you. So get myself ready, checking mirror, right shoulder. And then I'm all good, so off I go, steering out. And I'm just being very gentle with the clutch there so that I don't send myself flying out. And normally they'd be a bit more organised. They'd have that done before you got to the end of the test centre. We're going to turn left, mirror signal. I'm coming round here and I'm just staying in first gear as I come into here. Can be a busy bit here, so I'm just taking my time. And then they're going to turn you back into the car park here. So mirror signal. Again, just checking no one's coming from the co-op there walking across. Looks good. And I'm just going to gently go in, and then people can come shooting out behind that lorry as well. So I'm doing 4 miles an hour there. I'm in first gear, just going really slowly. I'm just going forwards and towards the fence. And then stopping there. And that's you. So now the examiner will go through the test with you, and hopefully it's good news. Hopefully that all made sense. A lot in there, so yeah, it might be worth watching that video a few times just to take in all the wee details. And hopefully, I know it's difficult sometimes when I'm driving around to explain the stuff in depth, so if you do have any questions about something I've said, then again, comment. You can leave the time in the video as well in your comments so I know what part you're talking about, and hopefully I can clear it up for you. And if there's anything else that if I've not covered something in sort of enough detail for you, then I can maybe see if I could include something similar in another video, or something just on that subject itself. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful, and yeah, keep on if you like the video, that helps, and it lets me know that you're enjoying them and stuff, and yeah, good luck with your test, and hopefully you're on the road very soon. And I'll have another video hopefully shortly for you to watch. So yeah, until then, goodbye.